Well, the white helmets are the most, I would say, the most cynical humanitarian interventionist scam perpetrated on the West in our lifetimes.
Explain for viewers purportedly what they do and who they are.
Well, let me just explain why they are what they are. You know, the U.S. embarked on a over $1 billion, multi-billion-dollar arm and equip program of Syrian non-moderate insurgents called Operation Timber Sycamore, and it allowed insurgents to seize territory, including 5 neighborhoods in East Aleppo. Now the entire province of Idlib is under insurgent control. Raqqa was under control of ISIS. These areas were controlled by al-Qaeda's local affiliate, Jabhat al-Nusra, and its allies. And it was not a pretty thing for the Western media to show the Western public that the U.S. was arming these elements who were embarking on a process of Talibanization, as the professor Joshua Landis called it, where Christians were ethnically cleansed, where Druze were killed and forced to unbury their dead, where women were put in fifth-class status. And so we needed to look at something else. So let's look at rescuers. Let's look at people who are rescuing children from bombs. And let's just say that Assad isn't trying to recapture territory from Salafi jihadi elements. Let's say that he is bombing his own people because he's a bloodthirsty, cat-petting dictator, and that these heroes are rushing in with their white helmets just to save the children. And these heroes happen to have cameras, advanced HD cameras, to show us this and to give it to media which is unable to enter these areas because so many Western journalists have been kidnapped and killed, and even in the case of James Foley, beheaded. And what I have showed in my journalism and what other independent journalists have showed is that the white helmets have operated exclusively alongside al-Qaeda and even ISIS as their ancillaries, as their public relations team, with $23 million, now it's $35 million, from USAID, the same group that supplied those textbooks in Afghanistan, and $55 million from the British Foreign Office, and untold sums from Qatar. They're a documentary, propaganda documentary about them, won an Oscar at Netflix. They have won the, they've been nominated for the Nobel Prize. And what they have aimed to do in practice is to convince the Western public that we need to bomb Syria and invade Syria in order to save the children. We need to do something. And they've almost succeeded.
Well, they keep calling for a no-fly zone.
A no-fly zone.
Which Hillary Clinton and others have adopted. Which means that...
Which Hillary Clinton, by the way, in a private speech, admitted would kill a lot of Syrians.
And that essentially means the Assad Air Force cannot fly over that zone.
Nor can the Russian Air Force. So we've seen generals admit in testimony in the Senate that that would mean a hot war with Russia and Syria. So the white helmets actually exist to promote and stimulate support for war. Not only that, White Helmet leader Raed al-Saleh has repeatedly been to Washington to lobby for sanctions on Syria, which took the form of the so-called Caesar bill. And he was lobbying one of the most pro-Israel members of Congress, Eliot Engel. These sanctions have had a terrible, devastating impact on the lives of ordinary Syrians who are now facing a gas and heating crisis and have had trouble heating their homes for the past few months because of the Caesar bill, because of what the White Helmets lobbied for. So I ask everyone, what kind of rescue group, which was nominated for a Nobel Prize and essentially won an Oscar, is fighting to bomb their own countrymen and sanction ordinary people in their own country?